Alright, what's up you guys? I'm here with the WrestleMania 7 review, and this was in Los Angeles, California. And it's no secret by now that this was supposed to be at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, but the venue had to change due to mainly two reasons. Security threats, that might have been a small reason, but the bigger reason was really piss poor ticket sales. This was a 100,000 seat venue, and they only sold under 20,000. I think it was by January. So yeah, that's not good. And I'm not the biggest fan of this WrestleMania, to be honest. It's a lot of short matches. There's 14 matches on the main card here. A lot of short, kind of nothing matches, but there is some good stuff in there. And honestly, I'm just not a big fan of the Sergeant Slaughter Hulk Hogan storyline. I don't like when you bring politics into stuff. I am the least political person possible, so I don't know. I think it just brings the story down. But first we had the Rockers, which was Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, versus the Barbarian and Haku with Bobby Heenan. This is a good little 10-minute opener. Had a really hot finish, and I think this is an example of what a tag team opener should be. And the Rockers were hot at this time period, so it's definitely a really good opener. And like I said, I'm going to try to go through these matches quick because there is a good amount. Next we had the Texas Tornado defeating Dino Bravo, 3 minutes 11 seconds. Not a great match. And I think that's more Dino Bravo's fault. I would never say it's Texas Tornado's fault, because, I mean, come on. He's one of the Von Erichs. So, yeah, this match is just really brought down by Bravo. And then we had British Bulldog versus the Warlord in an 8-minute match. Once again, just kind of decent, average match. That's kind of what this WrestleMania is all about. So, we're 3 matches in, nothing too spectacular. And then we had the Nasty Boys versus the Hart Foundation for the WWF Tag Team titles in 12 minutes and 10 seconds. This is a decent match. It's not as good as the opener. It's not like a 5-star tag team classic, but it's good. It's above average, especially for what we've seen on the show so far. So, this is a decent enough match. Next up, we had Jake Roberts versus Rick Martel in the first ever blindfold match in the WWF. You either love it or you hate it. To me, it's a little too gimmicky, but it still was an entertaining match. I'm a huge Jake Roberts fan, so I really feel like he deserved better, because he had a great match with Dibiase at WrestleMania 6. So I felt like this is just kind of a demotion, and then he was gone, the next year anyway. So, I think Jake Roberts deserved better, but at the same time, it's somewhat entertaining. It's a little stupid, a little too gimmicky for me personally, but some people might find enjoyment out of this. At least Jake Roberts went over with the DDT, so you can't complain. Next, we had the first streak match, The Undertaker versus Jimmy Snuka, in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Don't think I have to tell you who won that one. But, this is decent. It's really just a way to get The Undertaker over. Very clean, very good. And it was the start of an era. This is what started the legendary streak. And if it wasn't for that, I feel like this match would just be completely forgotten. Because obviously this is a nothing match, really means nothing, and if it weren't for the legacy looking back now, this really just wouldn't mean anything. And then we had the Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Savage with Queen Sherry in a retirement match. This went 20 minutes and 47 seconds. This is match of the night, and probably Ultimate Warrior's best match, and, one of Randy Savage's best matches. Not his best, but definitely Warrior's best. this is just entertaining as hell. And you have Miss Elizabeth at ringside, and you just have that great moment of them reuniting. And, this was very much a way to segue. This was kind of a precursor of the New Generation era. Obviously Macho Man was still around at WrestleMania 8. WrestleMania 9, he was on commentary. So, obviously this was not a retirement match. But you could say it was kind of a precursor. But fantastic match. Match of the night for sure. And, one of the best WrestleMania matches of the early years. And then we have Demolition, one of my favorite tag teams of all time, versus Kaito and Tenryu. And then we had, and this Demolition was Crush and Smash. I'm not the biggest Crush fan. I prefer earlier Demolition. But, and they're, they have alongside them Mr. Fuji, legendary manager. This match is alright. Like I said, for me, Demolition, I love them, but Crush, I wasn't the biggest fan when Crush showed up. But kind of your decent tag match, it only goes a little under 5 minutes. And then we have kind of a frustrating match, Big Boss Man versus Mr. Perfect with Bobby Heenan. Terrible disqualification. We had the Barbarian Haku coming out, getting the DQ. It's frustrating because this, it's a good match. It just has a really shitty ending. It's frustrating watching it because it's one of those matches that deserves a really good ending. And, it's unfortunate. Next, we have the Earthquake defeating Greg Valentine in 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Again, with these really short matches here, the entrances last longer than the matches half the time on this card. And it's frustrating. I would love to see Earthquake and Greg Valentine in a good 10 to 12 minute match. They're not two of the greatest of all time, but they're definitely legends for their own right. So, once again, frustrating. And then we have the Legion of Doom, which was Animal and Hawk, defeating the Power and Glory, which is Paul Roma and Hercules, with Slick. This went 59 seconds. So is there really anything else I can say about that? So, yeah, it's interesting, but, next we had Virgil with Roddy Piper, defeating Ted DiBiase by countout. A lot of these early WrestleManias had DQs and countouts. To me, this is WrestleMania. You need to have great paced matches and powerful finishes. And, this is the second no contest of the night, so it's not awful. It's not like, some of the other, New Generation era WrestleManias. But, I just feel like 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Any count out for Virgil and Ted DiBiase. They're iconic as a team. You have the iconic Virgil always coming out with Ted DiBiase kind of being his, I don't know what you'd want to call it. I guess you could just say manager. I was going to say something better, but wingman, manager, slave, whatever. And, to have that powerful story of Virgil turning on DiBiase, it's just this is what you give him? This, I don't know how many years in the making, but obviously years in the making, at least 4 or 5 years in the making, maybe longer. So, yeah. Next up we have the Mountie defeating Tito Santana in a singles match. 1 minute and 21 seconds. Once again, over 1 minute. What can you really do in that amount of time? It is what it is. I think Tito Santana kind of deserved to win this one. I mean, it's the Mountie. So, Yeah, just kind of embarrassing, because I think Tito Santana's a legend, man. Like, he had Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, 8? And then, he was on the first WrestleMania. He was part of the early WWF and a legend. And then we just have him be defeated by the Mountie. And if that's a way of putting the Mountie over, did anyone really think the character of the Mountie would ever get over? Come on. Next up, we had Hulk Hogan defeating Sergeant Slaughter. This was 20 minutes and 26 seconds, and it's for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. This is a good main event. It's better than I thought it was going to be. But, like I said, the story going into this, I don't know. It wasn't captivating like you'd want a WrestleMania main event story to be. Hulk Hogan, this is one of his better WrestleMania matches. I think he bladed one point in the match, so I'm pretty sure that was a blade job. And this was at a time when you didn't do that, so, it's very predictable. Obviously, Sergeant Slaughter wasn't going to win. And then and this whole WrestleMania, you had the theme of the red, white, and blue. Like, they had the little stripe, in the crowd with the stars and the red, white, and blue. So, at the same time, it's just like, come on, of course Hulk Hogan's going to win. But, yeah, not a very captivating story, but it's a good match. I will give it that. So, overall, I'm going to give this WrestleMania, I'm going to give it a C. You have a good opener, a good, I guess you want to call it semi-main event with Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man, and then a good main event. So, there's some good stuff in there, but at the same time, a lot of this is filler. Like, it's pretty bad how much of this is actually filler. So, let me know your thoughts down below of WrestleMania 7, and for now, this has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.